businessman who calls the shots, who's very autocratic and very right-wing in the way he runs his businesses, now suddenly has to be politically correct.
You know, he's not signing as many executive orders anymore, is he?
Well, no, that's the first 100 days, though. That's because he's gone past 100 days of president.
Can I just say that one very important thing, following on what you said about knowing your place, in other words, being professional as a politician or whatever you're doing, is the royal family. They've got it nailed down. The way they behave and or the way they present themselves is absolutely 100% nailed down, because they are core to the UK much more than the politicians are, because they have the history. It is well known, actually, if you do read into the depths and into the history, that Prince Philip, for instance, was a bit of a playboy in the 50s and 60s. It's a known fact. Yeah. And it's also well known that Prince Andrew, he was in the papers at the beginning of the year or last year with this American billionaire and this little sex ring of slightly underage girls, and somehow magically Prince Andrew got taken out of it, out of the media attention at the very least.
Got helicoptered out.
No, indeed. So those even those who don't behave get managed very, very cleverly and effectively. So they've got it nailed.
I feel Andy's got an opinion.
It's actually interesting because the royal family. I mean, I'm a huge royalist, by the way. So
and so am I.
Quite right too. Yeah, so, I think we all are.
But the thing is, one of the things
because we're in the UK.
Yes. No, not necessarily. But one of the things that maybe media companies or the PR companies who look after the people of the royal family, they will actually have a story under the surface that they can open up at any one time. So when you've got something like a sex drug, a story that comes out which is not in the best interest, let's say the royal family,
for sure,
you hit the media with that story and you open it up, and they've got their own reserve. Like, let's say another Harvey Weinstein's out there, and you bring that to service, and then that dominates the whole paper, which means now that big story that was part of, hypothetically, the royal family, now gets pushed into the 4th or 5th page of the newspaper. So there's always a big story that can be released to cover up another story and deflect it off.
The royal family, I think, is a very, very good example of identity versus leadership, because when the royal family were, I would say, more highly regarded and respected by the political environment or by the government, they were more revered, marketed. This is our royal family, we're proud of them. Now the royal family are very, very clever, they're very tactical, because what they're doing is saying, we need to survive. We would love to still carry on having the X amount of billions per year, even though we've got our own businesses, thank you very much, and we are allowed to take the profits from that. However, the royal family were used more, they were actually publicized more. Now the royal family are very clever, because they say, we need to survive, we want to be around. If we're too controversial, so now they're being politically correct, they're actually going under the radar. So yes, people still come and visit Buckingham Palace, but in terms of news, in terms of advertising, royal family saying, hey, we've still got one, it's a real royal family.
Actually, there's something that's happening.
They're not being used, they're now staying under the radar, which is a shame.
There's something that's happening right now, actually, which pushes political correctness forward, is Harry. So you've got Prince Harry, who's going out with Meghan Markle, who's half caste, I believe, so her father or mother is black or something, which means it actually makes the royal family a little bit more diverse now in terms of people they actually let in.
Yes, but again, you see, she is. Meghan is very similar to Kate, because she's quite clearly an anxious controller, and she will fit in. She will do the job. Whereas, of course, where Diana failed is she didn't fit in and didn't do the job.
Who?
Diana,
but Diana played Diana was.
That could be a podcast in itself.
Yeah, do you know what?
Princess Diana.
I did like Princess Diana.
You did?
Yeah, I did. I thought she went from this shy 19-year-old, very insecure nanny, and then in front of the public, she got transformed into this powerful lady who ultimately got the title of Queen of Hearts. And when we talked about likability last week, she became likable because she showed her power by introducing joy and love and however she wanted to do it. So she showed what's called referent power.
She did not maintain her duty, her role.
Play the game.
Exactly.
She went out of those
hold on
boundaries.
a second. You say that.
And got taken down.
You say she got taken down, but the thing is, let's face it, Prince Charles was fucking banging Camilla every other day of the week while he was married to her.
But we've agreed that this has been going on for the last, I don't know how many centuries.
Right.
So it's not news.
So she's been trapped. She's entitled to live her life.
She
Anyway,
knew the game.
She's not entitled. She married into it. She's going to fit in.
she married into it as a 19-year-old.
You can't imagine. It doesn't matter. You can't imagine Kate doing anything naughty. And Meghan, from the look of it, obviously we haven't had a good enough look at her. I think she's going to be a complier too.
Yeah, but she wasn't joining the RAC club. You know, she was joining the biggest, most powerful royal family in the world.
Princess Diana was compliant to the beginning.
In the beginning, but unfortunately she didn't like what she was seeing, so she had two choices. If I speak out, I'm going to be loved by the people but ostracized by the royal family, or I blend in and use the power cleverly, and she didn't have the patience.
But you know what?
It's called duty, isn't it? She didn't do her duty.
Her life had got to rock bottom.
I don't disagree why she did it.
And the thing is, once you've got enough of it,
I agree.
you know, people either change out of, you know, if they've gone through too much pain, then they will do something about it. I saw a quote one day. You know that coffee shop we used to go to in Gloucester Road, and there was a quote on the wall, and it said,
was it the very noisy one?
No, probably. But it said the quote was sometimes you have to lie in the gutter to be able to see the stars. And I think she actually hit the gutter and literally had to bounce up the other end.
The difficulty is, as Alexis said, when you join the royal family, you do it knowing that there are expectations, that you have a duty, and you can't whine and complain about that. I mean, yes, you can whine and complain and become more likable, but you're not doing your duty.
I disagree. You're telling someone, get married. I'll tell you, now you've married, you've taken these Christian vows, which means in life and in death and all this. Yes, I remember having to say them. And all of a sudden you're saying, actually, you can have the shit kicked out of you by your husband, but do you know what? In sickness and in health. That's what it is. In sickness and in health.
That's another topical talk.
Because that's your duty. It's the same thing.
That's another topical talk.
It's still a contract.
Duty of statements and royalists.
Because ultimately it was her marriage. She got married, she said the same vow.
Not her marriage, she entered the royal family. Totally different.
One of the biggest dynasties in the world. And look, we don't know what happened behind the curtain, but I am quite sure that somebody had a little chat with her and said, "Listen, me old dear, yes, you're from the Spencers. Yes, you're not exactly from the guts of the east of London, but we're just warning you. If you want to go ahead with this is what you're going to need to do, and this is what's going to happen. Do not tell me." Even as a 19-year-old, she went straight in there and went, "Oh, I've got no idea what's going on. This is all going to be beautiful. Charles loves me.
She probably did actually.
Loyal. I don't know. Come on, please."
Anyway, listen, guys.
Like Meghan is being well coached. I mean, her introduction to public life and to the royal family is being meticulously handled.
They actually have a well trusted and used program where they actually sort of mentor vets, and
which happens to anybody entering the royal family.
Have to.
It doesn't.
They protect themselves.
Okay, guys, we seem to have gone off on like about 100 different tangents today, so I think we're going to actually leave it there.
Well, I think we all agree that political correctness is exceptionally bad. But there is something called professionalism, and there is duty, which are different to political correctness.
Decorum.
I think the stiff upper lip is missed now in Britain, but you can still have a stiff upper lip, have rules in place, and allow people to be themselves rather than where we are now.
It's about standards, guys, at the end of the day. Listen, we'd like to thank you, Alexis, for joining us in this podcast.
Thank you. It's been a privilege.
Brought a different dynamic to it.
I was an avid listener, and now I'm on the other side. It's thank you.
Well, we very much appreciate your input, and any listeners who would like to join us, please connect with us, and we'll certainly consider it. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll speak to you next week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.